consistent. Their game score is quite good. They don't drop game ones like TSM does all the time, and they are very strong.
Yeah. That being said, Cloud9 still very impressive here. 13-4 as far as their season score so far. Ray subbing in has actually been getting better and better for them. Did like his starting performance, even though they had a rough start with the bottom lane play not really working out in one of their games. Still do really like the mechanics that we're seeing from him at least.
Yeah.
As far as his solo queue rating, everybody was very happy that he is like 400 plus points above the second place challenger.
Yeah.
And he's still sitting in that #1 spot. That being said, so many of these top lane bans coming out here. A lot of them are coming from Cloud9. Ray, one of the big things about him as well, he does have a lot of extra fringe champions that he can play in the top lane. So whittling down the top lane pool does, I think, benefit him. Problem is, we always say the same thing about Zig. He's the guy, he's the Kled guy. I know he's played tanks, he's played carries.
Gangplank, like why
exactly.
not?
The flexibility here among both of these top laners will be tested. Graves obviously earns his place in the bans. I think he still will cement himself here as king of the jungle.
Well, no Elise, no Zac on the ban table right now. Nothing aimed at Meteos other than the Gragas that you could maybe consider aimed at him. Lulu, the final ban off the table. Malzahar left up. We've been seeing more of that available. And that will be allowed to be a first pick, and it's going to be the priority here.
Yeah, huge priority there, especially with Lulu already banned out. There are still definitely options. I don't think Alistar is likely. Just a little hover over here. They could easily go for Rengar if they really wanted to. Meteos also has dabbled in that. He doesn't have to play the the Elise and the Zac and the champions that we do associate with him. He has a very wide champion pool. It's just a matter of what he's put time into recently. The other thing is that Gragas is sort of a double ban because we always mention him in the same breath as all the other top lane bans, but very powerful coming from the jungle as well. So that does whittle the jungle down a little bit here.
It does. Meteos going to go for his trademark Elise at the end of the day. The one jungle ban, he wants this over the Rengar, over the Kha'Zix, and this is the Meteos special, of course. Worth putting out, the Ezreal taken away from Sneaky has been one of his best champions, also the same for Arrow. So with no conventional bot lane carries banned away, Ezreal has been the king of the crop. King of the crop, that's not the cream of the crop.
The crop.
The king of the crop. I saw there was a recent shout out to a commentator who decided to mess up all of those idioms and just like do them all wrong, like not the sharpest strand in the shed or whatever.
I'm just now imagining a farmer in a gold crown instead of a
look at all my wheat, my sea of grain. That's more like an admiral of the crop, but it's all right. We're going a bit far on this one. Rengar, king of the jungle.
Back to Champion Select. Contracts will be very happy to pick up the Rengar, I think, in this trade. It's definitely been one of the champions that he has liked to go back to. And you definitely have a lot of options as well. As soon as you hit that level 6, you can combine with Malzahar ultimates in the bottom lane, and those could be extremely powerful to try and attack the Ezreal lane, depending on who he ends up with. Arrow has been one of the brightest stars on this team and a consistent carry for Phoenix1.
Absolutely has been. Arrow, I think we heard it at the beginning of the day. Jat talked about him being a front runner for MVP of the split, and I tend to agree. Arrow's been absolutely great. Ezreal can be a big carry, and it will be desynced roles, as there will not be a support grab that we expect from Phoenix1, the Nautilus top instead. And when you saw that sea of top lane bans, I thought, yeah, we might see Nautilus come out, and it's going to be the case. Zig on a tank.
It's actually been a fairly weird trend. I've seen a couple of games where a bunch of top lane heavy bans come out, but then no early picks for the top lane position itself. In Cloud9, you would expect more top lane bans to roll through, since they threw 3 at the top lane. Phoenix1 in the first round put Camille as well. And no surprise here, Phoenix1 are going right back to banning out more, technically, top lane bans. Fizz is a flex, but it's a Ray champion for sure. And I would definitely think this is targeted at him, and they're just speculating, all right, what is this weird Cloud9 top lane plan that they're going for? Ray does like to play a lot more damage-oriented champions. And Fizz is definitely a possibility there.
Yep, Fiora is still up, and we'll see if that ends up being the case here in this one, but still time to go. Ban base taking down 8 seconds left until Phoenix1 makes their final choice.
Yeah, and as far as the Fiora does go, I do like split pushing compositions that involve Rengar. Just opening up more space for Rengar to play in the mid game, basically. Rengar's one of those champions that still loves to go for the isolated picks and the skirmishes rather than full-on team fighting, especially with those nerfs taking, hitting his team fighting power, taking out the W. Definitely loves to draw the map apart, so that's definitely a possibility, as the Maokai is actually the ban they're suspecting Ray to go for, even though as far as me and associating Ray with champion types,
Maokai's not.
That is one of the last ones I would have come to mind. We shall see, though.
Also interesting ban-wise, the fact that there's 2 mid lane bans coming out from Cloud9, in fact, even though they, again, unless the Nautilus flexes, which I guess it could happen to be fair, but they've banned away mid laners, which they need themselves as well, and don't want to let those go to Ryu.
Jensen has been amazing on the Orianna recently, and Orianna's still up right now. They could try and take this away from Phoenix1. She's one of those ones that doesn't have super bad counter picks either. I mean, Ahri is still available, Echo is still available as well. Those are 2 that may find their way onto the pick screen here soon, but as of right now, the expected Ori, just because not only as a single champion right now in a very good spot, combos very well with Rengar. You know, there are multiple things that are up at this moment. Also does shield Lucian quite well. Lucian's one of those ones that likes to rely on movement speed and weaving in and out, so you can create space for him this way.
I like the Jarvan hover for a second, of course. Unless the Malzahar goes top lane, they do need a top laner for themselves, as the Braum hover means not very much.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jarvan versus Ezreal, so I don't think that'll be a lock-in for him. All right, they're going to take the Kled versus Zig. Big challenge here, as Zig was the first one to have strong performances on the Kled here.
It's always fun to look at, and now we get to see what mid lane is going to be played. Of course, Tarek down on the bot lane. We've seen that plenty of times in Malzahar. Haven't seen him in a while because Malz has ended up being banned for so long, but the final pick should come through is maybe Talon into Orianna for Ryu.
Yeah, and as far as the Tarek pick that you're talking about, Smoothie was the one who first had success with that counter pick into Malzahar. So both teams using the others' sort of flexible picks here on opposite sides of the map, and the Talon has been prevalent. You know, Faker goes back to it over and over again, even though they did have their recent loss as well. I do like the roaming power that Talon has if you can get one of these early kills or early leads. And specifically, I stress this every single time I see the champion, you can get 1v1 kills level 2. I mean, you really need to respect the passive on this champion. Throwing out the rake for, you know, either fishing for double hits with the rake and then jumping in with your Q for a Q ignite all in is definitely possible. The other way is if your jungler comes early, an Elise, for instance, you know, hypothetically here, as Midos is piloting the champion, can come early right after a level 3, and you can just start out with the Q, guarantee your rake basically double there. Absolutely. Go super aggressive early. So maybe we'll see sparks fly around mid lane early on.
Could definitely happen. Keep in mind, they are against Contract, so as you mentioned in the pregame, has the lowest team proximity as a jungler. He is not one who's ganking very often, so if the Talon gets to play aggressively and is unpunished by Cloud9's jungler, maybe it goes even better for Phoenix1. This is the battle that is likely to be a battle for second place. Cloud9 can actually still clinch first if they win here and TSM drops to both Liquid and Phoenix1 tomorrow. Otherwise, if Phoenix1 wins this and they beat TSM, they will take second place away from Cloud9 and get that playoff bye. C9 wins here, they are insured the bye no matter what.
Who's going to be king of the crops, freak?
Who's going to be king of the crops? Let's find out. We've planted the seeds of unknowingness, and now it's time to reap a game result. Ray starting in for Cloud9. The battle for a playoff bye is here. C9 wins this. They guarantee top 2, and maybe they catch TSM. It's based on other teams, though, as we get into game 1.
All right, we'll see who can head into playoffs with some momentum here. Does always, you know, help out the morale of a team as well if you head in strong to the playoffs. Let's see if there's an invade there. Definitely grouping up like they want to invade, and it would probably one of those common Raptor invades. Drop that ward down to see where Midos is starting. As far as dissuading an Elise instant level 3 early gank mid, finding out where Meteos starts will go a long way of taking away some of that pressure. And they should be able to just drop a ward down here.
And that's going to be a ward that'll stay alive for now. Meteos not able to kill it quickly enough. It's fine. But it will let them know if there's going to be Raptor start, as you mentioned.
And even though we didn't see it on camera, Phoenix1 did the counter invade. Similar ward. They will know if Contracts does as well start for Raptors.
And Stunt Air going to face check in. Of course, you're not going to kill the Taric at the start, so there's some control.
One other thing to prep whenever you do have Malzahar support in the game, I don't think it'll be relevant this time around, but you always have to cover all of your buffs. And so them doing these small counter invades with two-member groups to make sure that there's no sneaky Malzahar Voidling, bottom lane starting off with your blue buff or red buff or something like that is definitely important. And they're doing their due diligence here, basically.
Here's just the blue start, though. It does allow him to, I believe, start in Fog of War, and it was leashless, I think.
Yeah,
the stun was in
100%.
lane pretty early.
Saw them going for this
you're right.
bottom lane down here.
So all they know is that Meteos went for a leashless start right here. Arrow taking some damage, of course, some poke from Smoothie as we get to watch this battle start. Should be a small Goldie for Cloud9, as, of course, a Raptor start is generally beneficial. Rengar is really good at starting that out, and just a ranged bot lane matchup. And you can see as Jensen's going to pull the minion wave kind of away from the turret, help make sure he can last hit.
Also, you can see the ward that Ryu's going for here. Oftentimes, don't call out at the importance of shoving early on as the mid lane. Ryu goes over to place this ward in the jungle to see if there will be a counter invade on this top side for Meteos, and he's free to go over to his red. That could also scout out the Scuttle Crab, as contracts would probably end up down there.
Yep. You saw Smoothie put the ward down. You saw that the blue and the Gromp were gone. He knows exactly the path Meteos is going. They pinged right on his red buff, and that is where he was. So Cloud9 have information about the opposing jungler. Contract has been in Fog for a while, though. I don't think they know exactly where he is, but they can make guesses.
And when the Rengar is forced to do a solo Raptor start, especially after the nerfs to early armor and the health you can get back off of monsters does get very low there. You don't want to risk going for a Scuttle Crab if you don't have your mid laner with priority, especially to get the early ward there. So Meteos is able to claim that due to mid lane pushing up, and Elise moving top for their first area here. Does get pinged out as it goes through the Tri-Brush.
You can see right there, Stun able to use the empowered auto attack from his passive to kill the Voidlings easily. Ezreal gets it once, Taric gets it once, Voidling dies, no big deal there for him. And this game is staying pretty close to equal. Farm-wise, it's actually pretty close as well, so not a whole lot to speak of in this early game.
Sneaky with a pretty sizable lead here, about a wave.
Yeah, briefly, yeah.
For his minions, and it's not going to get worse for him unless he just misses CS.
True.
More for him to get.
Yeah, you're seeing a fair bit out of the Cloud9 duel lane. Good for them. Of course, Arrow and Stunt have been so good together, and Sneaky Smoothie had been making mistakes the last couple of weeks. It's good to see them kind of a bit back onto form. Contracts, of course, made the first recall. Long sword and quick kill on the Scuttle Crab. Meteos a bit later recall. It's actually going boots in a control ward. It'll be a slightly different opening for him. The move speed can help him get ganks. It's not exactly great for clearing, though.
Ryu trying to keep this wave pushed up so he can really threaten the Orianna. This is one of the plays here with Assassins that will work a lot more if the early warding from Cloud9 wasn't so good around mid lane. You see Cloud9 have wards around top and bottom side of mid lane, so they've seen Meteos go into the river right now. Bottom lane once again trading, though. Pretty standard trades with Malzahar here. Meanwhile, that control ward that you talked about, as C9 previously had their wards in place on top and bottom of the mid lane, we talked about that affords him the confidence to move up and take down that control ward very early.
And you can see a cooldown base support like Stunt is right here. Can't do much after the stun, and the fire back in for Cloud9 using their windows and openings quite nicely. And you're right there, getting farther ahead now in this lane. You mentioned the earlier CS lead, and they actually might be able to force a bad recall out of the Phoenix1 duo. Current gold 1387 for Sneaky means he's pretty close to getting Cutlass. I think it's a 1400 gold item.
Yeah, I like that they're going for the roam here to try and really cement some control. They pop the plant as well as placing a ward over the top. Jensen, though, 3 members around mid.
Ooh, not going to find that one, though. Jensen easily able to sneak away from this. Here comes the burst in from Ryu. Good damage. The flash to the wall. There's the kill picked up. Nicely done. Execution from Meteos and Ryu.
Very nice gank here from Meteos right over the Raptor pit. And they got the kind of sleight of hand there as, oh yeah, Zig is the gank coming through. He was just the distraction. Ryu with a nice setup there. We talked about the combo from Talon. Played it out exactly as expected, and Minos with a very good flash over the wall onto his former mid laner.
Absolutely, the revenge gank. You made me camp for you all the time. Well, how's it feel?
No. Maybe it's like a nod. You know what, Jensen, you're right. Camping mid is a really good idea.
I finally learned. Stunt goes down in the bot lane. The Voidling swarm finds some prey, and Arrow might be close on the next chopping block. Wow. The way he runs, Summoner's down, Stunt. Never even had a chance to flash.
The Dogs of Hell right behind him. And Sneaky, not going to let Meteos be the star of this game, strikes back very quickly on Lucian in the bottom lane. Taking down your MVP candidate.
It's like Star Wars Episode 8 right here. Light side, dark side, who's going to win? Meteos the Sith Lord. Sneaky trying to fight for the way of the Jedi.
I'm curious as to where these kills are actually going to go to, because Ryu does have his CS lead, has his kill as well in the mid lane on the roaming champion, whereas bottom lane here you can see all those previous trades culminate in the classic exhaust start there for the Malzahar, which slows you enough that your Voidlings get their hits off to spawn. And got up to about 5 right there, and a really good chase there from Smoothie. Able to punish them, but as we said, the mid laner.
Whoa, damage up on the contracts, though. Ignite is on, might still die despite the heal, and he does. The kill comes through Satchel Plant to keep Stunt alive, and a kill inside the Cloud9 jungle. Ryu 2-0.
Moves up, they get the early vision down. They're in place for that red spawn. Just really intelligent planning here from Phoenix1, and very intelligent execution as well. Able to get Contracts his first death once again. Coming slow out of the gates here. Whereas Meteos now, even though he's on a ward, it seems like he should be able to grab this one. Contracts does have his ultimate though, and it's going to take a while for Elise to do it by himself.
Yeah, Spiral seems to have died, and here comes the duo lane. He's got to leave. Or they get the fight baited out. Got a juke away from Stun. Nicely played by Sneaky. There's the flash. Oh, they got that kill. Nicely played by the C9 duo. 2-0 in the lane.
Sneaky on this Lucian, absolutely beautiful here. The buffs, to make Lucian a bit smoother really do shine later in the game, but right here, Sneaky quick beat, seeing it already. Nice dodge there, and they turn it around on Stunt once again, punishing them for starting up that dragon on Vision, honestly.
Yep.
You can definitely put a bit of the blame on the dual lane for extending like that, but
yeah.
It
was greedy from Stunt, honestly. The Malz was 6th, and I feel like he should have known that. It's not like experience comes in from nowhere, and I think he didn't respect Nethergrass, to be honest. They came in for the Drake stop. Now, we did see a second ago the top lane for the first time all game. Ray is down 8 to 9 CS against Zig, who's gotten his first recall Ninja Tabby, so it feels like this Nautilus is going well. Ray can recover for more. Meanwhile, Smoothie's in a horrible spot, but the damage up are going to come back through. One kill back, that shockwave dodged out by Meteos, doesn't have the damage though. And it's a 2-for-0. Smoothie gets the double kill, and now Ray wants a bit more, but he's not going to find the target. Dodges forward, gets the bear trap, not quite going to land the rope though, and Stunt's going to flash the wall to get out. The C9 now improved to 4-2 in this game.
Oh my goodness. Smoothie lives after all of that, able to kite back into the brush. Pretty good stuff there from Cloud9 on the counter invade. And it is a bit overreaching to go for that Infernal Drake afterwards. You can see how much these teams value the Infernal Drake, that they're really starting them off in very precarious situations. But here we go. Contracts is going for some revenge onto Ryu. Does get over there. Meteos can't quite get it off. He has a good repel for the shockwave, but still not able to finish off Smoothie there. And even though Ray not able to get the ultimate hit there, able to get this flash out of Stunt, who's already died several times here, and a flashless Taric in this lane that's already behind is very vulnerable. It's time for Ryu just to CS with Mystic shots, I think, as he's sitting on pretty much just the Sheen as far as combat power going.
It's going to be a tough road ahead for Arrow, absolutely. Trying to play around the Taric ulti can be very difficult. Of course, Cloud9 can get a lot of burst in fast and then kite away while that Radiance is on. Right now, the 1,000 gold lead for Cloud9. They've managed to navigate the early game pretty well. A lot of that being the duo lane, though.
Yeah, it's a super interesting clash. As I was talking about, the gold leads in different areas here. Ryu trying to exert his mid lane will down into the jungle, but Smoothie and Sneaky both really protecting the Cloud9 territory. Still a very close game, and the gold is by no means significant at this point.
Yeah, absolutely not game deciding, but it will be nice to see what Cloud9 can do if they get the early power spike through on Lucian. Rune King, he has the money to combine it right now. An instant recall and give him that item. For now, though, they use that bot lane advantage to go for a Drake, and it should be no problem to get it.
Exactly. This is a much more calm and calculated Infernal Drake move here as they've forced out the recall from Arrow. So pretty much all the threat here removed on the bottom side. Meteos as well was currently going for a gank on top side. You could see a couple of river wards there for C9. Very nice team play there to move in, grab that extra buff for later.
He's not going to clear the ward. Actually, Stunt was so afraid of getting attacked by a Malzahar or a Rengar that he swept the ward, hit it twice, and said, you know what? This is too scary.
And I believe that's a healthy amount of caution there.
I agree.
He's a flashless Taric who's got 2 deaths already.
Play it defensively. Siggy sets the table for what might be a feast to come. He's already 2-0, and Cloud9 could really use this win. End their regular season on a positive note. It was a 4-4 run before yesterday. They are now 5-4 in their last 9 matches, but for a team that started 8-0, that is not a great scoreline for a team that had expectations of winning this split right now. Many people had them as their #1. That actually is still a possibility, but improving might be the name of the game here. Still ahead in this one, only 700 though. Room to go. But typically Cloud9's strength has been in their mid-game shot calling and their macro play, and we're pretty squarely in towards that point soon, so might be going right into Cloud9's wheelhouse. Contract spotted out by the Scryer's Bloom of Stunt.
Here we go with a Ray roam down to the mid lane here. You always have to keep track of Kled as he pushed up the lane, made a feint down the river here. Hasn't actually checked that bush for the pink ward quite yet, but the ultimate is definitely something you really do have to worry about, especially as C9's bottom side of the map is under their control. If you bring down that guaranteed engage and then Sneaky's got his blade already completed, it could definitely be dangerous for Phoenix1. Turns to the top side though, and Sneaky takes care of things himself for now.
A lot of damage dealt. Meteos to the ground. Of course, Cocoon blocked out by the pass, but here comes the engage back out of Sun. His ult is not going to come down nearly in time. He dies before he can cast it anyway. Now Meteos forced to run, repelling into the air, but has not much to jump to. Thankfully, there's a Voidling getting into the turret. Contract's ulti is on, takes a turret shot for no reason, but they're going to go for the turret pressure. This should be first turret for Cloud9.
And Sneaky and Smoothly are absolutely smashing them here. 2v3, fight them off. Ryu's got something to say about it. But there are going to be 4 members of C9 grouped up. Teleports are ready for top laners. Duke
going to land the shockwave. The minion's going to be back there to reinforce. That will be first turret gold shared amongst the 4 of them because they need to make sure it dies. And Ryu's roam won't turn into anything, of course, too afraid of what could happen. Zig had tried the TP. I think it might have gotten canceled by Ray's ultimate. I'm not sure, but either way, that cooldown is now burned.
It looks like he took a beating there. His ultimate's on cooldown, so he probably used that. And then now he's actually getting a little bit dangerous if he remounts here.
The stun is there. He remounts in time. Ray's going to be right with this one. He knew he had the auto attacks. You do get 15 courage per auto on enemy champion, so as long as you have your W available and you're at half a bar, you will mount in about a second and a half. Ray does it and baits out the ult.
It's actually a very important thing to keep in mind when playing against the Kled. Here we go, though. This is the 2v3 in question, as Sneaky is able to dodge out everything from Phoenix1 first, and then re-engage off Smoothie's ult. They don't even end up needing contracts at all. Here's the play in question. Interrupted with the ult as expected, and then probably took more damage while he was trying to get away, which caused him to unmount. And as we know, this ends up with a turret destruction.
Yeah, nicely done. Conduct even able to cleanse out the Cocoon. Not a big problem for him. Still waiting for Arrow to scale up, but of course Sneaky's in a great spot. Actually going Zerk Greaves is interesting. I don't see that super often on Lucian. It's one of the available options, of course, but it's going to be more attack speed and it's going to be more tank busting, which is pretty important considering the fact that he is facing a Nautilus.
And I do like that look, especially since we're getting more of these on-hit oriented Blade of the Root King starts. We'll see how it does pay off for him. Nautilus is also one that you can kite some of the abilities. He's got point and click, and also he's got a giant AoE ring, so we'll see about that one.
I hope you stay out of range for some of that. The flash autos can be difficult as well.
Malzahar is always a great support to have versus someone like that, though. Absolutely. Straight up ultra tanks.
Even has his own % health damage. And as Captain Flowers called it, the Doom Jacuzzi is his name for the, the Malzahar ultimate, which I quite like, actually.
Spring break gone wrong.
Kinda. I don't want to invite Smoothie to my spring break party. I'm sorry. Well, you're champion. I feel like you're okay. But either way, we are back into this game as Meteos hopes to get some of the scraps in his jungle. Cloud9 have been starting to take over the map. It is 2-1 in turrets right now. As he gets his own red buff, waits around. His contract's invading? No? Okay, back to my Krugs. We'll keep farming.
All right, this is one of the cases where, as you mentioned before, Cloud9 have really excelled at when they move past this, 15 to 20 minute mark. We'll see if they can actually use this gold lead. Currently, most of their vision's on bottom side, yet the last outer turret is on the top side, so they're sending most of their reinforcements up to the top side of the map. Teleport's ready for Ray if they get into trouble here.
T1 hoping they can find something though. Arrow and Stunt waiting around on the backside. Ray sees that no one's in his lane yet, and it's enough to keep C9 from playing aggressively. And as soon as they realize how defensive that is, they all back off. Jensen not going to get bled. No oil spilt there by Ryu. The mid lane matchup has gone pretty equal. Ryu got those 2 kills, and even despite that, though, hasn't really pushed Jensen around too much.
Yeah, the CS definitely equal here for Phoenix1. Ryu attempted roams, some successful, some not so much, as the bottom lane from Cloud9 has proven to be the main carry force on either team. And with that, they probably want to relocate their carry force near the next Drake that's about to respawn here. As we said, most of their vision had been laid on this bottom quadrant of the map, and that is very good for C9 setting up for this dragon. Let's see about the Kled invade.
He's going to find someone to jump onto. Shield's going to come in. Not in time for Stunt. Only turns Meteos invulnerable. That means that's not going to be a lot for the CC, but he does flash the wall to get away, so it's a kill and a summoner lost. Cloud9 in control of this area right now. They got the whole team here. Ray, of course, didn't have the bird teleport. He was already here. And it's going to be a pretty secured Ocean Drake. Now, there might be a fight as well. Ray goes in on a Zig. But again, it's 5v4. Stunt's not alive. Here comes Ryu going for the play. Looks for damage on the smoothie. Not going to get the kill. Bleed wasn't triggered. Contract's fine as well. And look at the damage up coming through from Lucian Sneaky, pushing Zig back. And Ryu failed to ignite. It might have been enough to kill Smoothie. Didn't get the auto either.
I think it would have, because Sneaky's heal came in at the very end there and was able to boost Smoothie back up to around 200. If Knight was on before that, I think that does, secure it. Definitely a close call there, though. Sneaky's able to defend his teammates, and they come out with the Dragon. Phoenix1 losing a lot of ground in the opening game.
Yeah, they are. Taking a little bit here at the very end of the season. Of course, Phoenix1 still have TSM to play at the end of it. Watch this fight again as Cloud9 do well.
Yeah, Stunt has been a punching bag this whole set. Especially, you can really associate that feeling as a melee support. Getting behind in lane, you're already squishy. And sometimes it just feels like years for the Taric ultimate to fall down. Yeah. I think he started the cast as soon as he heard the Kled ultimate.
Yeah, but super early. I thought he played it really well. And now Ray, speaking of playing it well, kind of fighting away with Meteos, and never a problem.
Definitely respecting, again, the Talon passive there. He could have gone offensive to try and greed for that kill on the Meteos. Doesn't do it, backs off, and is able to survive himself.
Well, Ray and Zig have just kind of played the farm game in the top side. They're both playing tanky initiators. I think Kled still falls into the general mantle of carry top because he builds a cleaver and he builds a Hydra item, but it's kind of in the same way of sort of Trundle is a carry top. It's like they can do some damage, they can take over games, but they are there to be tanky, they are there to be initiators, and Ray and Zig going to kind of fill sort of similar roles in this game. Utility for the team is right now it's Ryu who's got the kills on the one side, and Sneaky getting the kills on the other. Right now it's better for the bot lane duo though, as Sneaky takes another turret down, and it's 3-1 in that scoreline.
Yeah, plus with Talon allocated to the bottom side, there's no way you're going to fight without Talon, especially considering Cloud9 set up their lanes a lot easier. So they pretty much freely take this objective. They have their teleporter on the bottom side, fed Talon, or not even fed, just Talon at this point. Not to be able to join. So Phoenix1 do lose out another turret, and Cloud9 have gotten the outer ring down. Now's the stage where you really see them make or break the game. Move up your vision wards up to the secondary level of the enemy jungle, and you can start to get these picks. Really take advantage of Rengar plus Kled combo. It's an absolutely insane combo. You guarantee your dive into the back line. If Orion is close, never mind.
There's the ward, and they found Ryu's shockwave to guarantee it comes in, and Smoothie actually getting his third kill. Learning from Olay, kill leader on the team.
Bottom lane for Cloud9. How many times are we going to have to harp on it this series? They are outstanding. Smoothie adding an extra kill there for himself. Doesn't want to let Sneaky outshine him. He's got better kill participation. He's got just as many kills. Let's see if he's able to get his Leandries up and running.
Yeah, all about that tons of damage there. So he's gonna do what he can. I like to go Rileys based on the items inventory. I feel like you'd finish
Could.
guys
Definitely could be a Leandries.
Yeah, no, I mean, we'll see what it actually ends up being from, of course. It's time to go.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Leandries just because more damage.
Sure.
The slow is super nice for Malzahar, though, and I think you have a lot of ability there, bringing up your Rileys.
Yeah, that's right. Respect me, I play bot lane sometimes. I went like randomly argumentative for no reason.
Ah, I do respect you, contrary to popular belief.
Thanks. That's kind of you to say. All right, now Ray gonna try to take some of the jungle away, and Zig's gonna try to fight him off. So he's just gonna ult. Woo! All right. Coward!
Doesn't that just look fun though, for you?
Yeah. Bouncing around on a chocobo. Why wouldn't you? That sounds great.
It reminds me actually of those giant balls that you can be inside.
Oh, I've never done that. Actually, no, I haven't.
Do the 360. You have?
I have. Those are fun. It was in like a very small arena. It was at North American Collegiate Championships like a year and a half ago. There was like a...
Oh, they probably kept you in like a little circle though. So
yeah, it was a very small little
You're not
arena.
like Jackie Chan going down a giant...
I didn't slide down like the glass wall from Mirror's Edge or anything, no.
All right, well, let's see if Cloud9 will take a slide or if they can finish this game out smoothly, because it's a pretty good curve for them. They've got Infernal to ensure their scaling, especially with this nice gold lead here. Already mentioned their vision can move up. It is doing just that into the Baron side. And the pick potential with those two front liners is very scary. Currently, Ryu is sitting in a side bush, you know, looking for some sort of pickoff play. This is something that he's actually been rewarded for here in the North American LCS. This one might be a little bit more difficult to pull off, considering he doesn't have a tremendous amount of burst damage, and the target would have to be one of the squishy members for Cloud9. Currently, though, fight engaging.
Target's a tanky member, and actually going to be squishy of Contracts going down to the start of it. That's without Ryu even in the battle. They jumped on Zig. That's not going to work well for you. Stunt does burn his ulti, but it's 1 for 0 to P1.
Yeah, and critically, Cloud9 did make the call there. Ray starts his teleport, but Contracts just got absolutely destroyed, so good cancel by Ray. Even so, though, they're going to have to try and salvage something from this play. Phoenix1 moving in for the mid turret here.
Yeah, right now with Contracts null and void, it's P1 looking for something to do in the 5v4. Looking at the top lane tier 2 turret. Back up in 7 seconds, and it's honestly not a ton grab. Phoenix1, they get the pick, but they're down in gold so much they can't get a lot with the 5v4.
Yeah, I mean, they pressure the mid and top, but then not really much of an objective gained here. Again, it's just Ryu setting up for some Fog of War plays, looking for an assassination target. The Drake is available. People could relocate. It's been long enough for Contracts to get back up, though, and we shall see if Cloud9 can defend their territory. Mid lane very, very low on health.
Oh no! Ryu jumps right into the faces!
100%
Oh no!
baited. That was so well baited there. And now let's see if they actually get more.
We're looking for it, Meteor Scott. Not a lot of places. He's gonna flash, try to get away. Does get away for now, but oh no! He betrays Zig! He shoots it back into the team, but he's a very tanky Nautilus. It's not really gonna matter though. I take it back. He's able to flash the wall, so only a summoner lost, but scumbag Meteos. Dark form for sure. Sends his teammates to the Wolves. The youngling's getting slain, and onto the Ocean Drake goes C9.
All right, that is going to result in a Cloud9 Drake here. As you said, you know, Ocean not the most impressive, however, gets some more power for that late game if they do end up having to turn it towards Elder Drake. Really, though, it's going to be, again, how much can they starve Phoenix1 of farm here in the mid area of the game? The secondary turrets definitely are something that you can pressure. However, this isn't the best siege team, so more likely Cloud9 will look for you know, these drawn-out plays where they get to use Cloud Ultimate Rengar, as we've said before, to look for picks. Smoothie as well has been basically the key member with Malzahar Ultimate getting so many of these picks. Most recently in that last bait from Sneaky, as you can see, they had Smoothie waiting in a brush, and Sneaky's over there kind of baiting this ward talent. That's this talent that's sitting on a ward. And it actually works off for them there. And that's how they're pushing this game along pretty steadily. Let's see if Phoenix1 can actually make their play here. Good hook on the smoothie.
A lot of damage there. Knockup is in. Here comes the ulti as well from Stun's going to find a couple of backlanders, and Shockwave deals 0 damage as a result, but that Stun's going to miss wildly, and Dazzle is everything but that. Now Contracts wants back in, looking for a target. Not going to get much just yet. Has to flash back away, though. Damage still onto Zig. They're going to get that tank one picked up. Into the back line goes for you, but there's the ulti in, and the assassination still comes in time to keep his teammates in. Medios getting one, of course, on that one, and now more back in for Contracts, looking for another target to slay. And Medios now is going to get dropped off the face of the earth. Woo. Only Arrow left alive in a 1 versus 4, and the chase is still there. Contracts not quite bonding onto this one, but now it's Arrow forced to run, flashing away. And it's still this 4v1 on the map.
Yeah, definitely a ballsy re-engage there for Cloud9, able to make it happen. They just barely are able to get enough distance, chasing down Zig and kiting away with their own backline. Let's take another look at what we're talking about here, because Zig, as you remember, starts it off on Smoothie. The Shockwave does disengage, however, no damage dealt because of that Taric ultimate actually coming down in time. And here's the risky invade. They have Fled coming down, so they want to focus Zig and chase him up away from the damage of Phoenix1. So they simultaneously killed the tank and kited a lot of the damage just in time here. Look how close it is for Jensen dying to his bleed. He gets a kill. Dangerous game as they're able to take down Stunt there. Gives him the health back so he doesn't end up going down, and C9 are able to clean it up. Definitely a lot closer of a team fight considering the lead that Cloud9 had. Well played by them, though, to move with the ebb and flow of that team fight, basically.
Yeah, it still ended up being a +3, and it's a 6,000 gold lead, so Cloud9, I feel like, can, at this point, feel pretty good about this one, as maybe they can close it out in the near future. 28-minute mark cresting right now. Bot lane tier 2 turret, no one was there to defend, and Ray is going to get the split push victory on this one. Actually going Ravenous Hydra. That's actually less usual on Fled, but
I love it.
Steal is nice.
I actually, it's more of an efficient item to me. If you're going to go for one of the early, health pool to be able to, maybe team fight more or something like that, I do also enjoy the Titanic. Okay, reuse out.
Yeah.
Slow down there.
Going tank Titanic does things.
But Ravenous is very efficient. Plus, it really just fully enables your split push sustain. And with Fled going through cycles, basically, mounting, dismounting, getting back on, I like the sustain.
It helps you stay mounted because you have to get that health bar back up.
Exactly.
Yourself on the Scar, stun the Contracts, and he's gonna stay alive just for now, trying to run. And here comes Medios, and he forgot to initial at page 7. Contracts goes down. Medios takes him out.
Another pick here for Phoenix1 on Contracts. Ray is still working on turrets though, and he might be able to get an objective after it. Yeah, he's gonna be able to. He has ultimate to run away if he really needs.
Never runs away. He just advances strategically in the other direction.
Yeah.
That's the goal of what Ray is doing. But either way, it's been 2 turret solo kills in Cloud9. Despite losing their jungler, are now 5-2 in turrets, and even a blue buff steal. Like, who needs Contracts? Ray's going to do his job for him.
There you go. Some extra cooldown reduction. Most importantly, though, the vision here really deep into Phoenix1 territory. And that's the reason, Cloud9, consistent split push pressure here with Ray. Nobody can really go answer him 1v1, maybe even 2v1. It takes way too long to kill him. So Ray is this beastly split pushing pressure constantly on the sides, and they've got plenty of vision. So he knows even if they go for this pick and you're like, wow, good pick for Phoenix1 on Contracts, they actually lose out in overall gold as Ray pushes up the minions, takes down some turrets, and C9 still in a very comfortable position. Phoenix1 have to make one, spectacular fog of war play. Basically, they got to catch multiple people, chase them down, turn that into a Baron. It's definitely something that's possible. Sure. It's just difficult to be able to do here. You'd have to get a Nautilus plus Taric, really nice couple of stun combos.
And the damage to break through the front line. And to be fair, maybe it's a bit easier than normal. Contracts, is only semi-tank, and Ray is going full damage. Bloodthirst just added to the lineup. If you just remove nameplates, you would know this is Ray right now based on the item build. It's one of the most obvious ways of telling which Cloud9 top laner you're against.
Hey, they made Black Cleaver more defensive. Here he comes, speaking of Ray.
And the turret is going to be going down, goes for the engagement of Medios. Look at the damage output there, kills him in midair. Bear trap on a rope, finds himself a spider, and it's not going to be enough with the Taric ulti, of course. Another kill comes through, but a Jensen on the stunt. That's 2 so far. Rio's next up. Make that 3. Shockwave to make sure he gets the kill for himself, and Ray wants a 4th. He's already rooted up Zig once. The Q's coming back up right now. And here comes Contracts, looking to make it all legally binding. Gets the kill picked up just about now. No, still not. Ray fighting for dear life and actually can't pick off Arrow. This could be a trade kill, actually. Gets the attacks. It's not going to kill him, actually. I think he gets the heal through, and I miscalled it, actually. It's still going to be the 3 for 0, but of course a lead still. Does Ray cue the wall to get over? Yes, he does. Now it's back up.
Steal, a boom.
There we go. We're good to go. Baron going to drop rapidly. And Cloud9 have all the tools they need to win this game.
Cloud9 with a very confident performance here. Opening game of one of the most important series for them. This split. Let's take another look at Ray. Boom. He actually only got 2 of the autos off there from the combo. And since his bear trap was still on Meteos, as he's falling down, it is a dead spider. And the rest of Cloud9 are following up behind Ray. They're basically just cleaning up all the members that Ray is leaving behind as he chases down the rest of them here. And this is a bit of a case of Zig is basically dead, so I'll leave that one to Contracts and go over here for Arrow, but Contracts heard the call to go for Baron instead, so C9 back off and gets, yep, Ryu here. Unlucky game number 1.
Yeah.
Already thinking about round 2.
Certainly the Ryu mode. Oh, hold on. Scooty, stun. Damage outputs there. Kill comes in for Arrow, and that's one thing back in, but it's going to require a lot more of these if P1's going to grab this game from
They're looking for him right now.
He pushes away Ryu. Contracts ults to see where the rest of the team is, and no one goes for anything else. Ray split pushes his 3rd straight turret kill. It was 3-1 a while ago, now it's 6-3, and Ray's been doing all the turret damage here. Keeps the wave clear going and pushes in for top lane inhibitor. No one defending just yet. Instead, it's a battle onto Zig. Meteos wants to keep his teammates alive, but here comes Jensen. Gives him the shield. Shockwave pulls in Zig. This time they do get the tank picked off. Into the back lane goes Ryu, and it's not enough damage. Arrow instead on the chase for Jensen. No, Shockwave is down. Does he eat the wall and go for the play? Jumps in. Q's going to land. Not enough yet to kill Jensen, though, and that dissonance.
The longer they chase, the more that Kled gets.
He's already on to the Nexus itself. P1 still looking for kills. Ryu really wants to get into this one.
Your base.
Maybe they're just going to lose the game if the Nexus itself is going to fall. There's the picture-in-picture, and Ray split pushing his way to victory, gets a Nexus turret, and walks away to safety.
A little bit less exciting play there to be able to just destroying buildings.
Oh, he wants in.
Yeah, I want part of the fun here.
Nope. That is so great, that interaction.
Meteos with the hops. That's like one of those videos where a basketball player jumps over the car driving at them. Meteos, nice repel. Makes you untargetable, so there's nothing for Ray to latch on there. That's why
Meteos is Danny Rand.
Yes. Ray doesn't divert. And Cloud9 once again. This time around, nobody even died right there with the pickoff. Or actually, did they lose him on the chase? 1 kill. Definitely a good trade for a Nexus turret there.
And then we can see a 13,000 gold lead. Baron buff still 45 seconds, and it's only Smoothie who's missing it. Here comes the siege. Turret gonna take a little bit of hits. And the minion wave about to stack up in the top lane. You can see it's in combat right now, about to crash in towards the Nexus.
Sneaky is still yet to die in this game. He got pretty close in the last fight where Rio ignited him and went for the all-in, but still able to slink his way to safety. And Cloud9 now with the pushed up minions and a little bit more Baron buff left, should be able to grab some more turrets.
And that is turret going down. That's inhibitor turret number 2 at this point. It's all said and done. It's going to be almost impossible for Phoenix1 as C9 pushes in. Rengar ults in to look for exactly where their opponents are. Top minion wave has crashed into the Nexus right now. It's fighting the turret. Here comes the engage. Phoenix1 want in. They land a 2-man stun. Looking for a bit more. Stun in the front line. Ulti onto Ryu. Lock it by some time. Still shockwaved in. 1 for 0 so far. And the cut away from Meteos. Make that 2 as the mid laner is down on top of that one. Zig's going to fall. Make that 3. And Meteos in the back line not going to get anything done. That'll be 4 easily. Ray gets to remount and kills off Arrow in the back line. And that's going to be the game. It's all over. Cloud9 take number 1 against Phoenix1. One more and they guarantee a top 2 finish. Definitely one of the best games we've seen Cloud9 play in a while. If you looked at yesterday's against Team Dignitas, they were getting bashed in the early game, and they received a couple of back-to-back throws. This one, Sneaky and Smoothie, hard bopped the bot lane, and they played a mid-game well.
Hard bop.
Hard bopped.
Everyone just keeps adding hard in front of all their phrases now.
Massive bopping.
There you go.
10 out of 10 boppage right there. 5 out of 7, perfect score.
Definitely a couple of triple bops there for the bottom lane.
Yep.
Sneaky and Smoothie were outstanding for the early game, and then it transitioned into the Ray show as far as later on. Split pushing threat, able to get them objectives, even after, you know, there were some hiccups there in the mid-game, couple of picks going over to Phoenix1. So definitely some good performances on the bottom and the top side of the map for Cloud9 this time around. And definitely very happy about heading into game number 2. We'll see if they can keep it up.
Absolutely, yeah. Ray doing very well on a lifesteal-focused Kled build. He split pushed his way to victory, but now we're going to throw it down to the analysts for their thoughts on that Cloud9 Game 1 win.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. C9 out in front right now in the race for second place between them and Phoenix1. Of course, still much to be decided, but a good win for Cloud9 here to kind of juxtapose some of the struggles they've had in the last couple weeks, both with their early games and even in some cases the mid game.
Right, I think this was definitely a good bounce back game from them, much cleaner than what we've seen out of the recent weeks. And in particular, I liked it because P1 didn't just sit there and kind of like let nothing happen for a while. They had those early kind of ganks, Meteos going for the early plays around mid. Ryu starts getting a little big, and when the Talon starts getting out of control, you get really worried about getting the game blown open, but C9 showed that they were able to stabilize.
And some of the things that strike me right off the bat, number one, Ray in to start, right? We talked about this at the beginning of the day. Both of these teams had the potential or have shown us that they're willing to throw in substitutions. And so here we start with Ray taking that Kled, that crucial Kled away from Zig and saying, hey, how do you play against it, and getting the better of him this time around.
Right, I believe there was one game where they flexed the Nautilus to support. I have to double check to make sure that's true, but I believe P1 did that, and that's a kind of thing you're facing where, oh, maybe they flex the Nautilus again, they take a Kled into something, but the fact that you're able to take that away, one of Zig's signature pocket pick champions that they love to use. On red side, very scary, but you're able to take it away blind on blue side with Ray. It's super important to have that kind of flexibility.
Right.
And we've always been saying all season long, when does Ray actually become important? This could be the matchup.
Exactly. It's very useful to have that flexibility in Champion Select, bringing Ray in. Now, if we go to the other side of the rift, down in the bot lane, we see the Lucian picked up for Sneaky again, kind of the ever-changing bot lane meta, opening up for some more early game-focused ADCs who really have the potential to carry, and we saw it here in this game.
And I think that's one of the best things about Sneaky in general is the fact that, like, what is his meta? Everything's his meta. You want Lucian as, like, an early game powerhouse? Like, great. He was one of the, like, the first great Lucian mains, like, the first great anything, really. So
it's true.
As we move away from seemingly the utility AD carry meta, which he was great in as well, now we're seeing more Ezreal, more Lucian, Kog'Maw, who knows what else is going to crop up, Caitlyn's as well, and he plays all of them.
And it follows the theme of the day, which is apparently all about the bot lane, right? We had the Doublet versus Wild Turtle. We were looking at Cody, Sun, and Ole against the makeshift bot lane in CLG. All right, well, in this matchup, we have arguably two of the top 3 bot lanes in the league up against each other. I mean, Arrow, right, making a huge case for best ADC in the league, and then across from Sneaky Smoothie. I want to go ahead and take a look at some plays here that, you know, came to fruition in the bot lane, really see how Sneaky Smoothie were able to gain themselves quite an advantage in the lane phase.
And if there's one point of weakness potentially for P1's bot lane, it is Stunt, someone who's been a little under the microscope, and he picked the Taric into the Malzahar matchup. Not truly a counter pick in the sense that, like, it starts beating it in lane.
Right.
Does a little bit better in terms of negating what Malzahar wants to do, but you saw in that first clip, he did not use his stun properly, he hit the spell shield, it's totally negated by Malzahar's passive, and then they're able to turn around and get another kill. Similar situation there, and then here, Smoothie getting roamed on, trying to use that pressure that he has from ahead. P1 wants to catch him out, but you see how coordinated C9 is as a team. Multiple members all collapsing to try and get protect their support there, and they're able to get 2 for 0.
Yeah, very good silence there, keeping himself alive just for an extra second for the kills to come through, ultimately. But as you mentioned, yeah, it is, if you're going to look at Stunt, we have to accept the fact, though, too, that he hasn't played the full split, right? Of all the guys out there on the Rift, he's the least experienced in this matchup in terms of professional play. So it's still good to see him taking stabs at champions like Taric, which kind of sit outside the meta, and look for cool ways to win.
For sure. It's one of the things that people always criticize Adrian about was his champ pool for the last, year and a half, basically, has been limited to the more supportive utility style.
Exactly.
Champions here, Stunt playing a little bit more of an engage. Counter pick thing that you wouldn't see out of Adrian typically, and it didn't work out for him, though it is nice to see that extra flexibility.
Right.
And it is a little scary because one of the things people always held back against Arrow, and one of the things they criticized potentially being the best AD carry in the league, was that his laning phase wasn't particularly dominant.
Right.
And you said it was always kind of paired with maybe not having the best synergy with his support. Well, you see what happens when you go up against the bot lane. As the meta is becoming more AD carry dominant, when you have this stronger synergy in other bot lanes.
Right, and you know who's faced the same criticism is Sneaky, right?
Right.
I mean, that was the old Sneaky, the whole meme, can't lane, not a lane phase ADC, and yet here he is having the opportunity with Smoothie. And again, it's this duo, Smoothie being a very, very aggressive and a very solid support here in the North American LCS, that they're actually able to get some advantages. I do want to push this forward. 26 minutes into the game. Let's take a look at this replay. 4-for-1 for C9.
C9 had, over the course of the game, accumulated a lead, and this is a good stab at coming back into the game by P1. Get the hook out onto Smoothie there. The Terra ultimate comes in just in time to negate that Orianna shockwave.
Yep.
But they're just too far behind to really chase through aggressively because of the advantage that C9 already has. So Contract goes for the re-engage. Ray is able to get up onto Zig, and the fight's just split where now the rest of P1's trying to chase down and collapse onto their tank, who's caught away from the rest of the team. Ryu almost able to go in there and turn that one around, but a good Malzahar ultimate coming in, hadn't been forced out yet, and it's too easy for the rest of C9 to focus down the remaining members of P1. And you get to see why it is so important to have that good early game, which is something that C9 didn't previously have very often.
Exactly. So again, here in the last week, showing a little bit more life. Again, the C9 squad getting those early game leads, which they seemed incapable of growing in the earlier weeks of the split. And they'll be happy to do that, but of course, we're still going to be looking for consistency within that step itself, right? Okay, great. You got one early game lead and you turned it into a victory, but can you do that time and time again?
That goal graph is exactly what a coach wants to see. That is the ideal goal graph right there. Maybe if you don't even want to see any red, sure, but that's, you know, beggar stampy shoes, right?
Yeah,
you
no,
take that goal
exactly.
graph and you want to see that again in game 2. A lot of this was kind of reacting to P1's pressure that collapsed in their own jungle, and their bot lane did get a very favorable matchup. I expect P1 to change a couple of things up. But this is a great first step for C9. We want to see them do it again. And in particular, if P1 chooses to swap up their junglers at all, I mean, maybe Impact comes back in. There's a lot of things that can happen in this matchup.
Yeah, we'll find out about subs shortly. Player of the game going to Sneaky this time around. Honorable mention to Smoothie because, again, it was one in the 2v2 in the bot lane. So we do have to pick a singular player to actually receive the award, but it is a team effort. The duo in the bot lane gaining those advantages over Arrow and Stunt.
Yeah, so no surprise there. Obviously, the Lucian pick was extremely strong. It's one of the things that does have a little bit of a bully matchup into Ezreal, and both of them are earlier power spiking champions than we've been used to seeing with some of the utility AD carries, and they can actually go in and make plays as opposed to being the setup themselves.
You wanted to know about subs? I got some info
right,
for you.
drop it on me.
Impact in for Ray.
Okay.
Okay, no real surprise there. We've seen those guys swap in and out throughout the split. The interesting thing is we've got rookie Shady coming in for Stunt. Not really much information to be known about this guy, so I don't know if you have more information than I do, but we're gonna have to see if the support swap here can bode well for them in that 2v2, which they lost here in game 1.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, Stunt did not have a great game, so I can understand. And this is some of your last regular season games, so if you do want to see how someone performs on a real stage,
right?
I mean, you have to kind of throw them in here. Even though this is a really high stakes game between second and third potentially, I think they're valuing the long-term vision of what can we learn.
Exactly. You'd rather lose the match here knowing that you're still locked for playoffs as opposed to make that substitution in a 5-game series where you're eliminated from playoffs if you lose. So again, we'll have to see how the sub works out for Phoenix1 and whether or not they can even up the score when we come back in their game 2 against Cloud9. Don't touch that browser.
I spill on my shirt, I'm tilted.
It's okay, my son.
It's okay, my son.
My son. My son. Where is my son?
I can ulti. Don't ulti, don't
I'm not there
ulti.
yet. I'm not there yet.
Slow, Ray, slow.
Yeah, okay, I'm fine. I got at least.
I'm looking at Talon,
Talon's there.
I'm looking Talon.
I'm here.
Yo, Tarek. Yo, I'm looking to ulti Talon, okay? Talon. Nice. Good job.
Come here.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Ring Baron.